Okay, so I want to walk you through the expectation of this assignment. So I first want to remind you that you're only doing the highlighted boxes. So you're doing these two here, this one here, this bold one here, and then there should be 3 on the second page. Here, here, and the one below it here. So that's the only expectation. I know there are more. We're going to do more when we're back together, but I want to just start off slow just to make sure you're good. So to do these boxes, sometimes you're going to need algebra and sometimes you're not. Okay, so when you're starting with standard form, I would absolutely graph this. And once you graph this, you can pull your key features and then you can go ahead and write your forms based on the key features. So if we go to Desmos and we graph that quadratic, so x squared minus 5x, and I believe it was minus 14. Let me double check, I'm sorry. Yeah. All right, so when we graph this, right, and I bring my screen back to normal here, and I highlight my key components of this quadratic, I can now fill in my table completely, right? Sorry, I wanted to see those differently. So I've got x-intercepts of -2 and 7. So x equals -2 and x equals 7. I've got a y-intercept of -14. So y equals -14. And I've got a vertex of 2.5, -20.25. Got it. So 2.5 comma -20.25. All right, so at this point, we would move forward and do factored form and vertex form. So remember, factored form is going to be x plus 2. Remember, because we're writing in parentheses, we're using opposites, and x minus 7. And vertex form is going to be x minus 2.5 squared minus 20.25. Okay, so in this case specific, I absolutely needed to graph first. So again, because of this situation, I graphed to pull this bottom information and then worked my way back up. So again, when you're given standard form, that's probably your best way to do this. But then as you move forward, you can see, well, in this case, I was given the vertex. So you could, if you wanted to, go ahead and throw in the vertex. But to get the rest of this, you're going to have to graph at some point. And then the only way to get this standard form is to multiply. And this was from the assignment yesterday. Okay, so if you skipped yesterday's assignment, you're going to go back to figure out how to get standard form. But the only way to do it is to multiply. Okay, same thing here. You've got factored, which directly leads you to the x-intercepts, right? But to get the rest of this and to pull back to vertex, you're going to have to graph. And then again, standard form, multiply. And then it shifts. And then it starts giving you the actual information, the zeros, which zeros are the same thing as the x-intercepts. They are identical. So again, you can write the factored form, and then I would graph it, and then pull your other information, multiply to get your standard form. So hopefully that kind of gives you an idea of how you're going to move through this. So you want to do those now 5 boxes that are left over, and then submit those 2 pictures to Floop for this. I do want to mention that if you do get a decimal for the vertex, it's okay to plug that into vertex form. But if you ever get decimals for the x-intercepts, you would not write that in factored form. So when you write factored form, you do not include decimals. Do not include decimals. That's important. Okay? If you have any questions, you can absolutely email me with all of your questions. See you soon.